Alright, I want to start off by giving all praises to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai by Hashem, Rakak Kadesh, the honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught me this truth. Alright, I just want to open this up with Psalms 64. Alright, hear my voice, O power, in my prayers. Preserve my life from the fear of the enemy. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongues like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, that they might shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. And what we are seeing, is they are beginning to, to load up that bow again. Alright, they are finna shoot again at the perfect. Alright. And they had to set a secret council up that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. They ain't afraid to do what they're about to do. They encourage themselves in an evil manner. They commune of laying slurs privily. They say, who should see me then? They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thoughts of every one of them in the heart is deep. But Yahweh should shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly should they be wounded. So they should make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. And all man shall fear and should declare the works of Yahweh. For they should wisely consider of his doing. The righteous should be glad in the Lord and should trust in him, and all the upright in the heart should glory. So, we're going to trust in the Lord. We ain't going to trust in what man doing. Alright, and I'm going to do this one, and I'm going to call this one the Contingency Plan. Alright, and let me just give you a definition of what Contingency Plan is. Alright, assess possible risks, identify the most likely potential threats that could be. Alright, identify resources to address what material you need to respond. Ensure you have the resources to respond to specific scenarios you might find. Develop a plan and procedure. Right? Now, so pretty much what a contingency plan is, it's a plan B. It's a backup plan. And we just watched a well-organized contingency plan. Alright, and the reason I say that, man, if this man wasn't vaccinated, my bad, I didn't want to say that word, but I said it. But if this man didn't have that go-go juice in him, you would have known, alright? And the Cowboys got rid of one of their best players because he refused to do that. Alright? He's in Cleveland now. Alright? So, the players who refused to do this, everyone knew who it was. Everyone knew that Cam was slow on the trigger. Alright? I mean, the players that didn't want to do this, we all knew. So if you never heard this player name come up, hey, you went along with the routine. Now, a contingency plan is a backup plan. So let's say if we have this happen, what do we do next? Alright, what can we do to throw people off the trail?
The Damar Hamlin injury was rigged and scripted. It is literally staged sports entertainment, no different than a storyline in the WWE. If you fell for this gigantic psychological operation and you actually think that this young man is injured, I implore you to watch the rest of this video because I've got some evidence that just might blow your mind. First things first, let's start with the evidence we can actually see. This hit right here does not appear to be all that bad, and we're supposed to believe out of all the hits that happened in high school and college and the pros, this specific hit caused commotio cordis, a medical condition nobody ever heard of until this game happened. Some more clear evidence would be the fact that he falls nice and safely on his butt and then lays down. He doesn't lose consciousness and fall on his face. No, he sits down nice and safely on his butt first, and then lays down. Now let's take a closer look at this supposed...
Alright, now, when you fall out, there's no telling how you gonna fall out. Alright, anyone who falls out knows it happens all different types of ways. So that really proves nothing. Okay, now what did look odd was when he said the hit didn't look all that hard, which it really did. Alright, but by the same token, this is Mark 13, and I'm gonna start at verse 19. For in such days should be affliction, such as was not from the beginning of the creation, which Yahweh created until this time, neither should be. And except that these days have been shortened, those days no flesh should be saved. But for the elect's sake, whom he had chosen, he has shortened the days. And then if any man should say unto you, lo, here is Christ, or lo, here is there, believe him not. For false Mashiachs and false prophets should rise, and should show signs and wonders to seduce, if it was possible, even the elect. So that was one of the scriptures that saying that if it was possible, the things they doing were gonna fool even the elect. And one of my first thoughts, as soon as this came up, it popped in my head. This is a contingency plan they had planned. That's why everything was set up like this, to look like this. Hey.
Supposed 9 minutes of CPR, and all the players supposedly crying because they're so emotional. What I see here is a big cluster flunk. A bunch of players all huddled around the guy who's supposedly injured, receiving supposed CPR. It looks like they're blocking the view from the fans in the stands. Why is everybody so closely huddled around this guy right here in a big giant cluster flunk? This only makes sense if they're specifically trying to block everyone's view from seeing what's going on. Are you telling me this is proper medical procedure to have every player on the team all standing around as close as possible? And I'm not buying these players crying at all. The more I watch this video clip, the more I see bad acting, like this right here. Do you really believe these guys are crying? I don't see the tears coming out of their faces. What I see are guys pretending to be emotional, like this. Oh man, I'm so sad. Look at me. Look, see how sad I am? I'm gonna cry into another man's chest. You know what helps me when I'm feeling sad? Crying into another man's chest and having his beard touch my head. I mean, look at this clown. And you gotta love the big white dude here. He's like, I'm here for you, Cupcake. You can cry into my chest. Now let's take a look at the symbolism here. Everybody kneeling except for number 33. What are the odds? Nothing to see here, folks. Definitely no Masonic symbolism at all. Purely coincidence. I'm basically like the only guy on the internet who tells you the truth that this is staged and phony. A lot of people took the bait and they think that this guy actually suffered a real injury, commotio cordis, heart attack, cardiac arrest, what have you. And then there's people who think that this is a VAXX injury. Oh no, he passed out because of the VAXX. You're all wrong. It's completely staged. If this was a real injury that happened unexpectedly, you wouldn't see it plastered all over every single mainstream media outlet. The mainstream media is controlled by the government. If this was an unexpected injury, then they would have easily just carted him off really quickly, finished the rest of the game, and they would have gave it as little attention as possible. So the fact they're giving it as much attention as possible proves it's staged. Not a single one of you saw this guy ever take a VA-XX. Not a single one of you ever saw this guy take a booster. So quit making up conspiracy theories, because that's exactly what the mainstream media is expecting you to do and is vilifying you for doing. Assuming the supposed cardiac arrest was caused by commotio cordis is as ridiculous as assuming the supposed cardiac arrest was caused by a VA-XX injury. You have zero proof of either. However, we do have proof that there was a charity set up in Damar Hamlin's name before this supposed injury occurred, and it has now received more than $6 million in donations. Yeah, that isn't suspect at all. So let's do a quick recap, shall we? This whole event happened on the Television. Okay, that's number one. It's on TV. Number two, nobody ever saw this guy take a VA-XX. Nobody has any proof that he suffered any cardiac arrest. What we do have proof of is this hit right here. Doesn't seem that bad. And then we saw Damar sit safely on his...
Alright, now, as you can see, this is what you call the mind games. Like I said, if he didn't take that deal, you would have known, because they would have gave him straight hell. Alright, so by him not receiving the straight hell that all the rest of the players had to go through who refused to take that, we know he took it. Alright, so he can just pump the gas on that one. Now, Matthew 24, chapter, the 21st verse. Alright, for then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, not ever shall be. And except these days should be shortened, there should be no flesh to be saved. But for the elect's sake, these days should be shortened. So except these days be shortened, when no flesh be saved. Then if any man should say unto you, lo, here is the Mashiach, or there, believe it not. For there shall arise false Mashiachs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, in so much so that if it was possible, they would deceive the very elect. And this is what this is. This is one of these events he's putting out, meant to deceive the very elect. Because at the same time, they coming out with this, trying to say players are not passing out from this go-go, this juicy juice, that is something else. You got this going on in the background. CDC 2023 thing requirements going on. Alright, so they are gearing up to really let loose. Alright, so why not push a narrative like this that no, that's not the cause of these things. Alright, so this whole video was actually the psyops. And that's how deep it is. If you looking at it in the spirit, you can see that this video was put together to be a psyops, to throw you off the path of what's truly going on. Oh, that ain't what happened. That's a conspiracy. That thing ain't doing that to people. That's a complete lie. Alright? And a contingency plan means you have it set up in your mind that you're gonna do everything and handle it this way if this happens. Alright? And that's what we look like we watch. A very well executed contingency plan. Alright? So after he supposedly fell out, then they did all these things that look like a Masonic ritual. That was a well executed contingency plan. Alright? Now, this is a little article about the juicy juice, but they saying that it doesn't mean that they were required in schools as of right now. Eventually they're gonna require things to go anywhere. Alright? And eventually they're gonna link this thing to seal. Alright? So that's why they need to throw people off the track. That this is what's causing the problems. Alright? This is what the whole purpose of their deal was. Alright? 2023 for both trillion and dollars anonymous vote by the U.S. Center of Disease control. All right, so pretty much that it was an anonymous vote for them to do this. All right, but right now they don't want to admit that they getting ready to make it what we call required and mandatory and necessary for your kids to go to school. And even though we know it's coming, all right, and that is why they need to run synopses like this to throw people off. All right, you can't say you making something mandatory for kids to go to school while people are literally passing out from. So they gotta run little stuff like this to throw people off the track of what's really going on. All right, now this is a video that I wish I could play, but I'm just gonna put the name on. This proves everyone who talking about the thingy thing, well, will, as you see, what it say. And this is the man channel. As you see, this is a BitTrue channel. If you get a chance, check this video out. You know, I can't put no link to it or nothing like that. I'm leave it alone, but pretty good video on this subject. All right, saying check this one out. Now I'm gonna play this. This is also going on, so don't think that this is the last thing that's gonna come out, because they are already talking about other diseases and things coming out.
In the midst of chaos, he was
We remain calm. He's just fallen so far, and he keeps falling.
Giuliani, what happened to America's mayor?
Sunday
at 9
commercial.
on CNN.
We have new CNN reporting this morning. A single case of polio in New York has health officials concerned. A senior CDC official says that one case could be the tip of the iceberg, and a local leader says the agency is warning the virus could, quote, mushroom out of control. Here now, senior medical correspondent Elizabeth Cohen. Polio?
Polio. It's so upsetting because we licked polio. We had it licked back in the 50s, 60s with the massive vaccination campaigns. And what's happening now is that anti-vaxxers, people who refuse to vaccinate their children, are bringing polio back. There is one known case of an unvaccinated young adult.
Who's bringing polio back? Now do you see the necessary need for the psyops to throw people off, or what really happened to Damar Hamlin? You see why it's necessary? And look who they blaming it on. Look what they getting ready to do. All right.
In Rockland County, just north of New York City, who has polio, but a senior CDC official told me, we think there could be many, many more cases because polio doesn't usually paralyze people. Usually when people have polio, they're actually asymptomatic. They don't even know they have it, and they could be spreading it around. Let's take a listen to Dr. Jose Romero.
We're definitely concerned. Finding polio in a country where we've had high levels of vaccination, haven't seen polio cases for over 40 years, is significant. Remember that this is just the tip of the iceberg, right? The very, very tip of the iceberg, because it's the rare case that causes paralysis. So that means that there must be several hundred other cases in the community circulating before you see this one case.
So they pretty much saying everybody gonna need a thing for this, because if you find one case, there gotta be a bunch of cases already circulating. All right, so we can see where this is going. All right, now I'm gonna read this. This is the last scripture, Job, the 20th chapter, and I'm gonna start at verse 18. That which he had labored for should be restored, and should not swallow it down according to his substance. Should the resurrection be, and should not rejoice therein, because he had oppressed and have forsaken the poor, because he had violently taken away an house which he built not. All right. Surely he should not feel crowdedness in his belly, and he should not save of that which he desired. So pretty much the Lord is going to stop them from being able to do what they want to do. There should none of his meat be left. Therefore should no man look for his goods. In the fullness of his sufficiency, he should be in straits, and every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. Pretty much saying that the world is going to rise up against him. When he is about to fill his belly, Yahweh shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. And that's going into these nukes. We know all this stuff about this, about these thingy things we can't talk about, are gonna go into that C-hip. Alright, it's gonna all be drawn in together, and they're gonna use it and make that in. And that is what the biblical MOTB is. And when they are about to do this, it said, when he is about to fill his belly, Yahweh shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. And that's going into that nuclear war. Alright, he shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through. It is drawn, it comes out of the body, yet the glittering sword comes out of his gallows. And that's going into them nukes coming out of the silos. Terror are upon him. Our darkness should be hid in his secret places. A fire not blown shall consume him. It should go ill with him that is left in his tabernacles. The heavens shall reveal his iniquity, and the earth shall rise up against him. Alright, so that means everything that he's done that is wicked, is wrong, is going to come out, and everyone's going to know. The increase of his house shall depart, and his goods shall flow away in the day of his wrath. So that means they're going to lose everything. Alright, for pushing this wickedness on people, the Yahweh is going to take everything away from them. This is the portion of a wicked man from Yahweh, and the inheritance appointed unto him by Yahweh. So this is what they got to look forward for. Everything been burned, and their kingdom being completely destroyed. And we understand why when you look at wickedness and all the evil that they are pushing. Alright, this right here is ridiculous. Alright, so you know that this thing has weird side effects, but yes, you're getting ready to force it on kids, and then you're blaming it on, bringing up something else, saying this coming back, and then so many people got to have this too. Alright, and like I always say, too much water will kill you. Too much oxygen will kill you. So how many of these things are they going to try to put into people? And should nobody be messing with anything that you know with them initials, Mike, Romeo, November, Alpha. Alright, I gotta say it like that because you know if you say that exact thing, they'll take it down. You shouldn't be messing with it. Alright, that right there is in the defiance of your house. Alright, and with that, I'm gonna say, Shalom.